So today we have a new topic, staff retention, and the second one, development. Let's try to complete it by today's class. If we want, then we continue tomorrow, as we have a tomorrow another class for HRM, right? And then after class, if you have any question based on your assignment that I have given you during the classes, so we can have some discussion. So the structure of the topic would be, we're going to study about turnover rates and trends, turnover analysis and costing, and we'll see the few strategies based on staff retention that we can use. So what is the employee retention? The employee retention is actually basically the main of aims to retain the employees at the company, to make them loyal as much as we can, to make them a commitment to the organizations, and much more responsibility. And today, at the present time, the employee retention becomes a very important item in the human resource management, in managing the people actually in all companies and the organizations. That it, by the way, right now it faces with the main, let's say, the gap that is with the skill shortage. What is the skill shortage? You might be heard about the labor shortage, like when in an economic we have a labor shortage, not enough working or employees people, right? And the skill shortage is those employees, let's say unqualified, or they have very insufficient skills. And maybe it depends on the organization, of course. Today, organizations, they require to have, like for example, on the skills, having two or more few foreign languages, or to have, or to know let's say, some especially computer programs, or to be actually multi-skilled. And sometimes with this kind of high requirements, we can face the labor shortage in the organizations. That it means the organization or the company have to find really professional and qualified people or employees. And we have some job tenure in the UK among the employees. Let's see, here is in the table 6. You can see some statistical information about the job holding the people in the UK. Let's see the length of services of those employees and how many percentage is being worked at the one organization. Let me highlight for you. For example, the 27% of employees, they mostly work at the company from 1 month to 2 years. So here is giving us the most of percentage of employees that work among 2 years only, during the 2 years. The rest of 24%, they work between the 2 and 5 years in the one company. So we talk about how many percentage of people working in the one company, how long they work actually. Only 13% they work between 5 to 8 years in the organization. And we have like a 9% of all employees that work in the one organization. They mostly work the longer they can work, like from 8 to 12 years. And sometimes we can see, like maybe in production service, in the production companies, like a 24% of employees work more than 12 years. And you might be faced with this kind of situation when you being pushed or pulled to change your work, to change your company, to change your job place. And the staff retention we talk about right now, we talk about the staff retention strategies and what kind of ways or direction we can go to live and to retain the employees in the company. Let's see. The first, of course, let's see on the trends and the turnover rates. So here is given for you some interesting statement that is some phenomenon like staff turnover. It always rises when the company is strong and jobs are plentiful because there are more opportunities available for people to change the employees. I think you agree that when we have economics being strong and stable, that there is a lot of movement we can see of the employees from one organization to another one. So because we have a good opportunities, for example, maybe it's based on the payment, like a wages, salary, or some another kind of opportunities like a training development. And when it is economically strong, like let's see, based on developing countries, of course you have opportunities to change your job. Let's see, for the more better conditions of working conditions. And conversely, that happens like during the recession, staff turnover it falls because we have relatively few attractive positions available or advertised, let's say. This is faced the financial crisis in 2007, right? And it might be, let's say, it is actually continued by these days, our days, present days, that we can face some recessions, and the turnover rates have been increasingly in all countries because we can see the very less attractive or interesting positions that be available in the market, in the labor market. You might be faced this kind of situation as well. So let me see, I have some questions. Does it mean the employees themselves leave their job or the employee don't want to work with them? Okay, that is very interesting questions. The later we are going to see the reasons why employees are leaving the companies or their job, or another side from the employer side, what they need to recruit new employees. Of course, this is like the coins with the two sides. The employees, the staff, leave the organization, their jobs because of a lot of reasons. The payment can be right, have no opportunities, no promotions, nor actually the career development, right? Or sometimes we face some family problems, yeah? That could be as a reason to leave the job. Or the location as well, the simple one. The simple reason like a location is far away, or sometimes difficult to reach offices. But let's see what about from the company side, the employer side. Here is the first is let's see, the first the reason is ineffectively or insufficient job of employees. So when the company or the top management they dissatisfied with your job, actually with your performance, right? Do you remember we have learned about the appraisal systems? That this is the appraisal, the systems, the programs especially developed and created to identify, let's say, your professionalism, to identify your performance, how do you work, your efficiency of your working at the company, and can be as well to identify your skills that is being made with the company's requirements, right? Or like today we can say like skill shortage. Sometimes our employees are not enough skills to be worked, or let's say have as all the world, and all the factors like economical, like political, like technical are developing, and always in developing stages. We have to develop as well. We have to develop our skills, knowledges. We have to be multi-skilled, to have a more expand knowledges. And today this is the reason. And sometimes in the organization, the reason can be like the let's say the employees' ages. Sometimes the organizations requires more younger employees to be recruited, right? So, but all depends on the individual's development, its own willing to develop his or her own knowledges and skills. It's today, as you know, maybe you have heard some news that most of organizations, here is like some regulations, they cannot reject the potential employee because of his age, or because of his nationality, or because of his original religion. All these, as well, the reasons can be to be or not hire, or just fire the employee. But we are going to learn later about this. So let's see the next one. And charts Institute of Personal Development Persistence show some retailing. We have two kind of fields in the market, are like a retail and catering, which this is sector which shows the highest turnover levels. And I think it's similar for all the countries we have. And the rate is approximately 40% in the recent years. I think you are agree that, for example, the highest turnover, that means the people leave their job, the recruitment process becomes inconsistently. This is for retailing and catering sectors. Like a catering is, let's say, it's all about the restaurants, or some like a cleaning service, or some cafes. This is for catering. And for retailing, that we know the supermarket, shop, all the managers, supervisors working over there. By the contrast, the most stable workforce is to be found in the public services. There is identified approximately 10% of people who leave the job. So the public service becomes more stable. And let's say the jobs in the public services. But this is a common situation which happens in every country. Never mind that the information taken from the UK statistical data, but we can apply for the all countries, as I can see. So to see why the people leave organizations, that we had the question why the employee leave the organization, or why the employer fired the staff. We need to make some analysis based on turnover and analysis on costing. So here is given to you the main reasons that people have voluntarily leaving a job. They like leaving for themselves job. The factors like outside factors we call. The reason could be when the employer moving away, let's say overseas, or like to travel. So this is outside factors. Some kind of fractional factors we have, like, is based on the poor work performance. So, but this is the main reason, which can be from the side of organizations. When the organization identifies that your work is being poor, your performance based on the appraisal system, so they can like fire you voluntarily based on your by your own request. Like, let's see, as you know, most of an organization, when they want to fire someone, they ask you to write the application, that you need, or you wish to leave the organization voluntarily. Yeah, that because of this reason will help you to find a new job more easily, so you won't be faced any problems. Another kind of factors, we have a push factors. We call push factors. This is when an employee, he or she dissatisfied with the work itself, with the let's say the job routines that have every day, or with the organization itself. What the organization, or with let's say some corporate culture might be, it's not satisfied. So, and the last factors could be, we call it pull factors. This is when the employee is dissatisfied with the salary, with the payment. I think this might be the main reason that employees leave their jobs, right? Or you have no any opportunities for your development. It could be like for career development, or in terms of your increase in the salaries you have no seen, or to get in the new promotion. This is all about the pull factors. That means the pull factors, they are pulling you to leave the job. They're pulling you because of you have a bad condition to work, right? So here we just given to you the main reasons. You can, for example, you can add some new ones if you had in your job. If you have any kind of examples why you left your previous job, if you have changed it. So if any of you have an idea or have the reasons besides of this that we have seen in the slides, why you have been left your previous job, your previous company or organizations. So, okay, I have some examples asking you, what about the environment and facilities and working conditions in the offices? This is belongs to the push factors, like dissatisfied with the work and with the organization. Like organization means maybe corporate culture, so you'd say with the corporate culture, or with your supervisor, or with your colleagues, or you say with the work, which means with your main conditions of work, your main routines, your responsibilities that you have, or the working condition that you work in the offices, maybe location, maybe you have a bad chair, I don't know, you are dissatisfied with your computer, it's too old. Yeah, this is also can be a reason. Why not? Because like this is the tool that help us to make our job easy, right? So any of you have some a different reason from that we have right in the slide that you've been left your job? So not any idea or not any offer. That's fine. I think we have been highlight the main reason that when we need to leave a job or when we are leaving it, right? So let's go ahead. So we have seen the reasons of leaving a job. Okay, before to start the staff retention strategies, we have a student who wants to speak. Let me unmute you. Mr. Mohammed, can you talk?
Yes, thank you, madam.
Okay.
I just want to add, including the reasons that you just explained that we mainly call them internal turnover or the internal reasons for the employee turnover. We can also say the external turnover that are not volunteer process of leaving the job. That could be involunteer. That because of the situation, some point you would have to make the decision to leave the employment with your current employer. Like if you're going to move from your province or from the area of living to another province far from your family, maybe you're going to have some sort of long-run sickness, or maybe you're going to have, or accidentally you may get disabilities, or some other family reasons. Because of some internal problems within your family, then you will have to decide to leave the job. So these are also some other factors that could affect the decision of employee to decide whether to continue with the current employer or not. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Yes, you're right that we have a reason such as based on the family, right? Based on family reasons. That happens very often. Or like location that you have said that if, or let's say from side of company, when the company changes location, sometimes we can see that kind of situation. Changes branch of the place or locations and difficult to reach. This is the reason we would refer to outside reason like moving away or traveling. And the family problems is, of course, here is not mentioned. But we are going to see that kind of reasons in the next slides as I'm going to introduce you some staff retention strategies. And here is, based on the different, how to retain the staff, based on different strategies, we can see that the family reason can be as well the most and often reason that happens in the organizations, right? And sometimes it also happens like, let's say, like in my situation when two people are working in the family, like a husband and wife, and sometimes husband needs to change the location. Like let's say my husband's organization and the company moved to another country, even change the country. So suddenly I should decide what can I do with my work, right? This happens in my situation that I have leave my previous work and start to have some lecturing based online, because when, for example, from my side, like lecture online is the most the comfortable and the best situation of work conditions. Like, because my husband, they change the job locations very often between the 2 or 3 years. So sometimes you don't know where you want to be. So this is also can be a reason, right? Let's see. So we have some strategies how we can retain the people. Here we're giving you some recommendations. The first is the payment. Of course, many organizations, they use the payment, salary, wages, or bonuses to retain the staff, right? This is the common situation. The first reason that we can use the payment to retain, to leave, to make a loyal of our employees. But here is we have a gap in the payment because of, let's see, we have some the statement from this Struggles and Gifts. They say that as far as they are concerned, means the employees, they are concerned, while challenging work will compensate for pay. Pay will never compensate for having to do boring or unstimulating work. That like unstimulating our work or boring work or dissatisfied work cannot compensate by the payment. But it takes time, of course, as far away, like maybe till, or let's say 5 or 7 years you will be work because of payment, because of salary, of course. But as long as they come to the end that you will feel that your work is boring. It can be like boring, let's say the boring routines, that your main responsibilities, or you are not have motivation to work in the organization, such as, let's say, you have no career development. As far maybe your payment will be increased, but you have no career development in terms of your professionalism. You see? And sometimes, and not sometimes, it can be often, we can see where is maybe in development countries where is can be changed your work or your organization. This is payment one see as a main strategy to retain the staff. So as we want to work, want to do what we like, right? That's the best job that you have. You doing what you like, what you love to do. The best job would be, let's say, equipped for you. Let's see the next one. Strategy. So what is the disadvantage of pay strategy? Pay is very easily matched by the competitors. So let's see the company offering you the payment in an amount. Of course, the competitor, if you want, or the competitor, the organization, the competition organization wants to recruit such a professional like you, he can offer you the same payment. And thus, the payment is more attractive in the recruitment process when we recruit a new employee. But the effect on staff retention will be limited. The later means later when you've been already interacted with the organizations in working, and later you will see might be that your job is boring and you are being dissatisfied with all the work or organization conditions. So here is the payment seems to have a gap to retain the staff. And we have some questions for discussion. Think about what other factors do you think the employees can be considered to more important than the payment? What is more important than the payment for you, let's say? And what role can be the HRM function play in helping to develop this? So the first question for you, what's your reason can be more important than the payment, than the salary itself? So I can see that here is capacity building, right? And Mr. Mohammad Asif wants to talk. Let him have a speech.
Can you hear me, teacher?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I think that only the payment is not important for employees. There are many other factors that could be very beneficial for the staff, which the first factor is environment. The second factor could be the policy or retrenchment issues.
Yes.
Yeah, and also retirement pensions and other issues like some allowances like medical allowances, many other, or the reputation of the organization also could be the factors, dear teacher.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you, Mr. Asif. So you're right that like condition, if you have some allowances or sickness payment, or like for women's, like a maternity leave payment, also would be the most important reasons than the payment itself. So here is Mr. Harold wants to speak. Let him have a speech. Yes, Mr. Harold.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah, following to what was said by you and also with my colleague, payment is not the only solution for retaining the employees. Like in the earlier slide that was discussed, the payment could affect the recruitment period, but that if it is not backed up and supported with further support from the employer, employee will not feel relaxed to continue with the employer. Here are some recommendations that how we could strengthen the trend of retention of employee within the company. Most companies that find to decrease the employee turnover, in addition to the payment, they should consider another benefit, such as reasonable schedule for the work. So the employee could keep a kind of balance between the employer and the family. There shouldn't be too much expectation from the employer that could affect the personal life. So that sort of schedule could be one factor to encourage the employee to continue. The other could be the kind of regular performance-based rewards and incentives. So the employee could feel that his best performance is compensated with some regular incentives. Also, from the cultural perspective, the employer should have some sort of flexibility to recognize traditional benefits, such as paid holidays, such as paid sick days for a certain time. Some other allowances and insurances that could support the overall employee situation. But in addition to these, because these are the benefits that most companies will be able to offer these for their employees, there are some unique employers which is largely seen on the non-profit organizations like the United Nations, like the embassies who are recruiting host country citizens. They are offering some sort of allowances that those allowances keep the employee to stay till end of the tenure with the employer. I'm going to mention some examples. Like if there is going to be some health insurance, some discount home loans. For example, if I'm going to buy a house, if there's going to be some discounted loans from my company to give me the loans, or there are some allowances for my wife and for my children for their education. So these will keep me to demonstrate my loyalty with the current employer and will not investigate for new employment opportunities, because most companies or most competitors will not be able to offer this. And this is highly respected in United Nations organizations. So I'm going to mention my own example. I'm working for UNDP. And here, UNDP is giving me lots of privileges or benefits where I cannot find that with USAID employment companies or USAID companies. Though they will offer higher salaries. But you know, some employers or companies, they always think over their own benefit rather than safety and security of employment of the employee. In United Nations, it is a long process, and it is not easier to dismiss one employee from the employment. But in most private companies, to take a decision to dismiss an employee is like drinking a cup of tea. So there should be some sort of human rights value HR procedures and systems. When such employer is respecting human rights values within their HR, I think the chances high with that organization to keep or retain the employee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Haran. That you're given very good reasons. That yes, haven't been mentioned them about the security and safety reasons, the security and safety conditions at the organization. This is as well important and become more important than the payment, right? Because if we are being secure in a working place, that we are working or the offices, even in the office we have a safety, that becomes like our life being in safety places or building on the location. Of course, that would be more important than the payment, right? As well, you have mentioned that about the insurance, that the insurance is very, like, let's say it's very expensive if you want to have a good insurance. The insurance your life or health, or even some organization, they provide the insurance for all your members of your family. This is as well very good. The factor that you can choose the organizations, because of today, you know, we all know that all the medical, like medical, all the health, the medical centers services, all the medical and pharmacy things, they are all very expensive, right? And if you have an insurance that the organization provides some health insurance, medical insurance, or it can be called like even a life insurance, this would help you to save the costing for medical services that you will have. So that's very good. And as well, yeah, I have think here is some another reasons that Miss Hadia, if I'm not wrong spelling, she's providing, like, encouraging the staff, and at the end of their work by staying on one email for attracting his or her for their work. Also can be one small point for staying the staff. Yeah, welfare, security, capacity building, all these kind of promotion, pension. The retainment payments are also important. So we have seen a lot of interesting kind of factors that would be more important than the payment, right? So let's see the next slide. Here is that giving you the benefits which been concluded in one statement. Like which benefits is being more important than the payment, like such as staff discounts. This is all about that. You have talked about the loans discounts, or you have mortgage discounts, like holiday entitlements or private healthcare schemes. Some pension schemes are very appreciated by the staff, and they are more likely to have some positive effect. Also, this on staff turnover can be simply paying higher base wages. And all these are kind of factors that we have talked earlier. They becomes more important than payment, because though they are very less easily imitated by the competitors. So it like say more harder to copy by the rest of companies, because each company, they create own the schemes for insurance, for healthcare, for holidays, and so on, right? So here is we have another speech from Mr. Haran. Yes, I'm let you speak.
Okay, thank you, madam. Now I would like to touch upon what HR can do from the very beginning of employment of the employee. in order to
Fine.
give the feeling to the employees to stay with the organization. Here we have some very vital areas, so we should focus and we should not forget it in order to develop the systems and HR practices to support employees' loyalty. I think the first thing that employee would prove that he's working and the supervisor can feel that he is an asset is to fix a certain expectation within the employee. It means there should be certain measurable objectives within the TOR of the employees. So the employee should feel that within this certain time of period of time, what is expected from his side by the supervisor or by the manager or by the company. There shouldn't be everyday expectations. One manager comes with one messages and the other supervisor should come up with different messages. This will make confusion for the employees. So there should be clarity of the expectations of the employees. The second aspect the HR could support the system is that how could create a kind of free environment of talks. It means there should be absolute freedom that the employees should feel free to raise their concerns, whether it is going to link to the behavior of the manager or to the working conditions or to the overall system. So there should be a kind of chance of freedom or freedom of speech for the employees. Here, employee will build a kind of loyalty that you would compare this environment with the previous one, that he is much free, that he can raise his issues without any fear from anybody. Another one is that to create opportunities for the employee to learn more and to grow more and to develop more of his skills. So it means that you're giving extra values to the employees. Employees from the ethical perspective also will feel responsible to continue with the company. And also there should be a kind of general perception within the organization that there is a fairness and equitability, or equity is highly respected. For example, if there are two staff, one is female and one is male, while there are lots of facilities for male and there is not the same or adequate facilities for the female, I think the female employee will not stay with the employer. And a critical example in Afghanistan is kind of separate facilities because of culture and religious perspective. Separate facilities for women and men, like toilets. For the female employees, if they have kids, there should be some sort of kindergarten or nursery services for the employees. So here they feel a kind of equity or fairness. Another could be that there should be a kind of regular performance management. Management performance, if it is going to be according to 360 degrees feedback, that could create a kind of coordination or a kind of further communication amongst the staff and building up further relationship between the staff. And here, the staff would have opportunity to talk to each other and they could express their talents and competencies. So sometimes one employee should be given opportunity to support another team where he has the skill to support that. Another could be that I'm going to summarize it, that recognize and appreciation. So we should capitalize on the best performers. So there should be frequently thanks. There should be frequently appreciation, whether through monetary or bonuses or some sort of promotion in the job, career development for the employee. So if HR is going to consider these areas, I think that will also affect the loyalty of the employee to stay with the current employer. Thank you very much for the chance.
And thank you very much, Haran. Yes, you're right that you have seen that first of all, we need to have a strong communication between the staff and the HR management, right? to have a free speech, to have a free recommendation, to give a free recommendations for the HR management, how to make a staff more loyalty, right? This is the main reason that we might be having in the most organization, that we have no connection. But this is the first of HR management responsibility. They must have a 360-degree feedback, or like we call it. They must have send some appraisals, have an appraisal system which include like questionnaires about of satisfaction of job conditions, about satisfaction of payment, or the reward the employees have, about the, or let's say about the satisfaction of development opportunities, training, learning courses, right? This is under the HR responsibility to have such a feedback, or based on the questionnaires from all the staff that they have in the company. Then they would, of course, they will collect it, gather it, and make analysis and offer a very good program for the staff. That's very good that you have been given the reasons, and of course some recommendations for HR managers. So let's if you have such kind of situations, like when you need or have some recommendations for your HR department, we must have some free speech right, to free of offering such recommendations. Okay, that's good. Let's see the next strategy that we have in staff retention. The second one of reason how to retain the staff and why the employees are leaving the organization can be like managing expectations. That is very interesting. Let's talk. We have talked about the reason, like about the payments, about all rewards we have or might be have in organizations. But sometimes, like, your behavior or your expectation can be a reason to leave the job. So here is the major cause of job dissatisfaction. You are being dissatisfied, and hence of high staff turnover is the experience of having once high hopes of a new employee dashed by the realization that it is not going to be as enjoyable or stimulating as you expected. Like you are being recruited for a new company, let's say. Your expectation was more higher, more interesting, and more brighter than you had at the end of you have been working the organizations. So this is, you might have very high hopes for the organization, for the position itself, for your main responsibilities. But at the end, you might be dissatisfied. You might be unstimulated with your work, with your performance, with the organization itself. In other words, it's important not to mislead the candidates about the nature of the work that they will be doing. So the main important thing is that it's from the side of employer, the company. The company must explain about the job, about the position, about the performance, all the response to the new employee as it has in the nature, as it has been in the real, not just given the like the promises such as which is not been held by the activities, right? So we have to explain in the correct manner, in the nature of its words, about job itself, about the position, about the career development for the new employee, that he or she won't be in the future dissatisfied or with the expectations that it had before, or he or she has before. Yeah, so this is the reason as well when the employees leave the organizations and through the expectations, managing the expectations. We manage what we promise for the employees. We are responsible for those all the requirements and requests for the employees that we are given or conditions that we are going to offer. So the organization must be responsible, right? Of course, any employee should be responsible for the job itself, for the organization, and for his all the main duties, right? And another kind set of strategies based on staff retention, it calls induction. What is induction? So this is when we are being recruited to the company and inducted to the company. Introduction, like let's say this is about the introduction of your job, of your position, of the company itself. So induction has a number of decent purposes, all of which are concerned with preparing the new employees to work as effectively as possible and as soon as possible in their new job. So induction is very important. This is the first step when an employee being recruited and starting to work. So from the HR management side, we have to explain for the employer what his main duties and responsibilities, what the organization is doing, what actually the organization's main goals and main aims, what kind of structure and mission we have in the organizations, what our actually the corporate culture is being found in the organizations. So this is all about must be let's say explained very clear and in the nature of it. And here is some scientists like Greg and Watson. They show in the analysis that 870,000 workers, they started new jobs in 1992. That as many as 70% only had left within 3 months. You see, within the 3 months only. And 42% people, they leave the job during the 12 months, during the 1 year. So the reasons we have, you see, here is we have a high turnover rate at the main point of starting the work. Like only in 3 months, people leave the job by the 70%. Let's say from the 100 of people, you've been, let's say the company hired the 100 people, 100 staff. And during the 3 months, 17 employees already had been left the organizations. And another 42 people, employees, they left the organization during the 1 year. So here is we have seen very high turnover rates, right? The reasons, what is the reason can be for this kind of situation? The first is poorly managed expectations. The situation might be like the case from the organizations. Organization might be given some, let's say, the promises which is not been activated or already given for the employees, and some ineffective inductions. When it's the introduction part of the employees, when the employees being introduced, they might be introduced wrong at the wrong direction. They're not being explained the work itself, responsibility, and so on that we have talked earlier. And this situation is very very bad and very important. These two kind of reasons. So we have to be as in the organizations as a top manager, or you working in HR management, or even like in the top manager, we have been very carefully with the reason what we're expecting from the employees and what the employees are expecting from the company, and how we're introducing a new employee to the company, to the company's culture. Okay, this is as well the managing the expectation, the induction we can use as the strategies to retain the staff. If we have efficiently managed the expectations, This is, and we have efficient program of induction that help us to retain the staff at the first few months and for the latest years. Effective and timely induction is the process which leads to reduction of turnover in the beginning of employment relationship. So this is when we talk about the induction, we talk about the beginning employment relationship between the company and the employee and employee. And here is I want to introduce you some induction program, how it can be, but it's actually been developed and created by the company individually. So here is some just, let's say, the structure of induction program, how it can be. Let's say from the lens of how long the induction program can be left by the number of weeks. So we can introduce an employee for the company during the few weeks or a few days. Of course, the length of induction program depends on the job nature itself, right? And what kind of form of induction program can be? Like first one, organizational induction, when the HR department being involved, and just having some presentation for new employee, the presenting the company itself, the product that company produce or have as services, presenting the company's goals, missions, all the strategy that company have. This is a presentation. Like, of course, it would be include presenting the office itself, all the colleagues, all the supervisors they have, explain what the functions they have and what the functions the employee will have in the organizations. And next one, the forum can be like a job-based induction when the line manager is being involved. Like if you, of course, as well, it depends on the position itself. Sometimes we need some training courses to be introduced for a new job. So most often the line manager they involved in this process. The line manager would teach you how to perform your duties and responsibilities, just giving some training learning courses. So and these two kinds of forms of induction program can be combined. The first of the HR department being presenting the company and all is what includes and the products. And next one becomes induction more deeply, which is being introduced by the line managers for the main duties and responsibilities of an employee. Okay. So any questions so far based on this induction program? So I hope you do understand what is induction program. This is the beginning of your employment when you start to work in the company. And sometimes for example, some companies, organizations, they might be, let's say, they miss this induction program or have no actually induction program in the organization, but it's very important at the beginning of relationship between the employee and the organization, because this is also the reasons of leaving the job, and also can be like a strategy to retain the new staff. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's see the next one. And we have another kind of strategy based on the staff retention. It's like family-friendly HR practices. As Mr. Haron mentions about the family reason and how the HR management can practice them to retain the staff based on the family conditions. For example, we have some the survey based on the labor force survey that show that between 5 to 10% of employees, they leave jobs for family or personal reasons. So here is we have some of percentage that people leave because of family reasons. And Hom and Griffin, the quote, the research indicated that 33% of women, they quit jobs to devote more time to their families, Yeah, I think this is a common situation in our country, when most of like a woman, they voluntarily leave the job because of family reasons. It can be like to have deliver a child and his growth, that it takes time sometimes, yeah. So the family reasons as well is very important, and we can use, actually in the HR practice, you can use a family-friendly relationship between the staff and the company to retain the employee. What the reason can be for voluntary resignation from the jobs in terms of family? To juggle the demands of jobs with those of the family, that we have talked about earlier, have given the examples, right? So another kind of strategy, we have a training and development. This is the seems as the most important and interesting strategy that we can use in the companies. And we have a two widely expressed but wholly opposed the perspectives of views on the link between the training interventions and the employee turnover, which means we have a very interesting connection between the training opportunities that we have in the company and with the employee turnover, with the turnover rates. So here it says that the training opportunities, they enhance, which means increase the commitment to an employer on the part of individual employees, making them less likely to leave voluntarily. So that means when the organization are offering such kind of training opportunities like development opportunities, which is based on learning training courses, this make an employee to be more loyal for the company, to be more responsible, and they less leave the employees less leave the company itself. And another view we have, like a training makes people more employable and hence more like to leave in order to develop their careers elsewhere. The view is thus put that money spent on training is money wasted because of it ultimately benefits as employers. This is from the side of an organization or employee. Sometimes organizations, let's say the organization which often offer the training, learning programs for the employees, they see that they lose the money, they have a cost because of any employee can leave the company itself. In this kind of situation, when like an employee going to leave the company, we are just losing our money for training courses, because all the training and learning courses is being like outsourced by the company, right? This is also the cost of the companies, cost based on the employment. So sometimes if we have a high turnover in the company, but by the way, at the same time, we often the training courses, that in this situation we are losing our money for training and learning programs. This is from the side of employer. From the side of organization, we are looking that we have a high costing for training. So that means here is based on the training development strategy. We have a two view. That first, the company seems or thinks that the training opportunities makes the employee more loyal for the company. That employee can be more responsible and less likely to leave the company. Another kind of situation when such as employees have even they had some kind of training program and leaving the organizations, we have some costing, high costs, and it seems that some expensive programs to retain the staff. So, and as you are the future MBA managers, you must think if you have any kind of strategy or programs at the organization from the two sides of an employee and from the side of company itself. It brings the benefits to the employee and to the organizations together, or it has a one side of benefits. Like, let's say that I think you have learned about the win-win strategy. Like a win-win strategy we have, let's say maybe between the partners or competitors, between the companies. But here is the strategy, this kind of win-win strategy we can use as well between the staff and the company itself. So that means we should have benefits from both of sides. Okay, let's see the next one. So here is the most expensive types of training, intervention, or programs or courses involve the long-term courses, such as MBA, that, for example, you have, and some accountancy qualification. Of course, you know, you have your MBA courses based on most of you, I think, you might have an MBA course based on your own payments, right? But sometimes multinational organizations, they offer such courses free for the employee. And as well, like accountancy qualification programs, like getting the certificate of ACCA and so on. And these kind of learning programs, I know the practice where the campus is practicing the MBA or accountancy programs in such an organization like audit organizations. As you know, the four large audit organizations, multinational, they offer accountancy programs free. But by the way, based on the contract, you must work in the company a few years to be let's say to be saved the money that the company have a cost for you, to save the cost that company had based on the courses. So let me see, we have some questions. Okay, here is Mr. Hakmal. He's given the example that he has awarded the scholarship by the bank to get the certificate ACCA in Malaysia to have a study, right? That's a very good example from if it's the World Bank is your like say the job place, that is a very good example from the side of company. Yeah, such an organization like banks, insurance companies, the audit companies, which is based on financial services, they often offer the accountancy qualification study for the employees. But mostly the MBA programs is being offering for the top managers and the companies, like in the multinational companies, the huge companies, or for the future top manager, which is going to get some promotion as a top manager, so they can get some MBA courses. to increase the qualifications. Okay. And another kind of strategy we have to retain the staff, like improving the quality of line management. As I remember, Mr. Harun as well offering this, let's say, like as strategy, as recommendations, how the HR can practice to retain the staff. So we have to look based on our supervisor and line management to increase the effectively management process. So the most voluntary resignation explained by the dissatisfaction on the part of employees with their supervisors. That sometimes the people employed, they leave the company, the job, because they are dissatisfied with these supervisors. And it followed that the most effective means of reducing the staff turnover in an organization is to improve the. So the most important here is this, let's say the recommendation is to improve the performance of line managers. Of course, it could be a very good reason. Let's say if you have a bad relationship with your direct line manager or your supervisors, so sometimes it's difficult to get the responsibilities to perform good or efficiently. That will impact your job itself, right? So that could be a reason that the employees are being resigned, leaving the organizations or resign. So, and the strategy here is how to retain that such as employees is to improve the quality of line managers, improve the performance of line managers or supervisors. And how we can improve actually. Here the solution is to take action on various fronts to improve the effectiveness of supervisors. Based on three kind of, let's see, the recommendations. Let's select people for line management roles following an assessment of these supervisory capabilities. So that means the line manager must be a leader, have supervisory skills. Have you remembered that we have talked about the leader skills? This is belongs to supervisor or line manager as well. Ensure that only the appointed line managers are trained in the art of effective supervision. So they must be trained. The line manager also must have experience and must be trained how to manage and supervise the employees effectively. And regularly apprise the line managers on these supervisory skills. This is where you talk about 360-degree feedback. We should have get the feedback from the line managers, or we can send the questionnaires for the employees based on the question about the survey shows the recruitment and retention matters that ask from the employers what the kind of strategies in the staff retention could be some effectively. And here is some top 10 activities that can be applied in the organizations. Let's see from the bottom to top. Like the first one, the improving the induction process by the 49% seems as the most important the reason. And the strategy to retain the staff. Induction process that we have talked how we are going to introduce a new employee for the organization and his or her the main responsibilities and duties, right? The second one, the increasing the learning and development opportunities like all trained learning courses. By the 45% is being most important. The third one, improving the selection techniques, how we select actually people. This is all about the recruitment process we talk about. Increasing the payment, the salary itself. Then improving the line manager HR skills. The line manager HR skills also important in the recruitment processes. As well, improving the employee involvement, that an employee must be involved by the 100% for their jobs and for their main duties, right? Which means can be identified by the performance. The seventh place takes improving the benefits for the employees, all this health care insurance program that we can offer, maybe some transportation for employees, sickness payment, and so on. This is all benefits, like a reward we call. Can be like a financial one, but which can be given by the cares, or non-financial. The eighth place takes improving the work-life balance. Work-life balance, which means that have a balance between your family and work itself. This is based on the time regulation of your work itself. Offering some coaching and mentoring programs for the employees. As well, we talk about the training courses and learning programs. And last one, to better recognition of employee efforts. So this is very important as well, even it takes a 20% only. So we have, as a company, must recognize the employee's efforts, his interest in job, his motivation for the company, for the job itself. Because all we are as a human being, we need some recognition, right? From the top managers, from the supervisor, from the company itself. So this is the main, let's say, the recommendations can be applied in the organization to retain the employees, to retain the staff. And I have some questions for your discussion. Let's see. So it's addressed for the students that we have. So you should think about your own experiences at work or those close your friends and family. What were the key factors that affected the decision to leave a particular job? I think we had the same question previously, right? That what do you think the main reason could be to leave a job from your own side, right? What, if anything, could the employer have done to ensure that no resignation took place? This is also, we have talked about, let's say, the HR practices. We have talked about the recommendation to HR practices and to the top management as well. So this is the similar questions that we had previously. If you have any ideas, you can have a speech. We can have a discussion based on this topic, staff retention. So how to retain the staff, make them loyal. So any questions so far based on today's topic? So I have some questions from Mr. Hartman about the availability of better opportunity for staff can lead to leaving the job. Of course, this is we have talked about what the reason can be for the employee to leave a job. When we have the strong economic and stability in the country. From the side of economic political factors, and of course when the companies are doing well, so here we could have some opportunity to change the job. So I have some questions. Okay, here is, let's talk about the assignment that I was giving you on the last on the previous classes, which is based on activity 13.3 on the ebook. Mr. Harun wants to ask me. Okay.
Thank you. I just want to clear myself. Are we going to answer the 2 questions in the activity sheet or just select one of them?
There is been questions about, let's say, let me open that first one.
One is about delivery of a training or attending a meeting. The second is about a long-run employment.
Yes, you had 2 questions, and you should answer for the 2 questions, and the answers should be given as essay, as your story about your job that you had, maybe same activities or actions.
Okay, maximum with each with 2-3 pages fine or less?
It depends on the situation. First of, the answer could be from 1 to 3 pages.
Okay, shall we prepare a very standard questionnaire and also a kind of ranking methodology, or just a narrative report?
Just make your own explanation and story about your experience that you had.
Okay, okay. There is no need for a well-designed. There is no need for a well-designed questionnaire or a kind of tables, graphs, blah blah. No need for that.
If you want to, it depends on you. If you have such as information, you can provide me. That would be interesting for the other students. That, for example, I would choose 2 or 3 jobs, and you would have opportunity to present your essay.
We are going to present it in the class tomorrow or later on?
Tomorrow you would be present after the new topics will be completed. So you will present your essay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So tomorrow we will have a new topic based on development. And then we will have a discussion based on your homework assignments. So I will choose a few works, so 2 or 3 depends on time, and the student, I will ask the student to present his own assignment, like based on the essay. So we'll be given around, for each student, will be given around 10 minutes to be present its essay and its assignment actually. And let me show you. So the activity was based on the page of 310. So first you have to identify 1 or 2 critical incidents, such as making a presentation or attending some important meeting for the first time. Just explain me like if you had previously you had attending some important meeting in your organizations or making some presentations, what it was actually, what is being, what kind of presentation you, maybe about the products, about the services, it could be anything. Or maybe you had some important meetings in your organization, let's say the professionals were being in your company, share with experience and so on. Then you have to identify and learn to activity you have been involved. Like a second one, just explain me activities such as some project maybe. You had some project based on the team or individual, or that you had it previously. Just explain me what kind of project it's been, what duties and functions you should, or what let's say the problems you should solve, and so on. This is would be presented in the small essay for maybe 2 or 3 pages. And based on these 2 kinds of activities and 2 situations, that you have some presentation or the project, you have to provide some explanation who can give you some feedback based on your own experience. From what kind of people or your colleagues or superiors you can have some feedback. Like think about the 360 feedback, because this is an activity based on 360-degree feedback. So think about this. So let me see some questions. So the better if you send your assignments today. If you send before class, I would have no time to review your assignment. The better if you send in before 2 or 3 hours before starting the class. So I would have some time to review all your assignments. Okay, that should be good. So. Okay, thank you very much. That for students who already send me assignments, that's I already, some of you have been reviewed, some in the process of reviewing. Don't worry. So I'll give you a speech for tomorrow. So that's all for today. Any question based on the topic or assignment? If no question, we can complete the class as you have maybe, I think the iftar is coming already up, right? So thank you very much. Enjoy your time. So tomorrow we have another class at Friday same time. So this is based on normal class. See you tomorrow and goodbye.